Still good at making inside jokes about famous people. They had one about Frank Coppola being on Hard Financial Times. It's like, yeah, I actually heard about that in the news, so it wasn't lost on me. All right, now for the regularly scheduled jokes. I still had some time off because, bank holiday. We had one this past week, Veterans Day, and when I lived near Mall of America, just a few miles from it, that's a simple way on filling in time if I'm am at a loss of how else to stay occupied. So I went over there and I made a stop at a calendar store to get a Charlie Brown calendar because I'm a big Charlie Brown fan. And then I also got some ice cream because I like ice cream and I like airline miles, and I know I get airline miles from that place. And I was telling a fellow comic about that on Facebook later in the week. He said it was in reference to don't go to the Mall of America comedy venue on this particular night of the week because they've got something else booked. And he said, well, just buy things at other stores, and I can't remember what merchandise in particular he was referring to. And I said, well, there was one day in the past week where I got a calendar and ice cream not the same store. And he said, well, maybe you should work on that business model of trying to sell those two things at the same store. And I said, well, I don't think that would really work. Calendar stores, they're kind of a seasonal thing. And my best idea on combining calendars and ice cream is, well, they do have that term called flavor of the month, and I know that you can do a lot of different themes with calendars. Believe me, I know, being in those calendar stores. All I can think of is having a different ice cream every month on the calendar. I mean, it's Mall of America. I mean, it's not a big deal if you have to go to more than one store to find what you want. It's a haven, a treasure trove for chain stores that have only one location in Minnesota, and it's there. Like Long John Silver's, or 2 of the 3 A&W restaurants in the Twin Cities are there. Hooters, a sushi place. I mean, the list goes on and on about how unique of a mall it is, which I didn't even realize after a while until I started researching store locators, going back to when I got a Facebook ad for Hooters in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. It's like, I don't live there. Do they have one in Minnesota? Yes, they do. Okay, now I know. All right. Sometimes I still remember the weirdest things from being in school, because sometimes they talk about how, well, will this be relevant out in the real world after you're done with school? And sometimes I still think about it because it was in science class, and one of my college roommates was a science major, and I have said to him before, yeah, I didn't last long in the advanced placement or honors science classes at my school because I didn't like the instructors. And I guess he had better science instructors than me if he decided to make that his major. And I said, you know, one thing I didn't like about a science teacher I had, he was telling me, you can't use bar graphs, you have to use line graphs because college kids use line graphs. Why can't you be like college kids? And it's like, well, it wasn't that exact voice tone, but I mean, work with me on that. And all I'm thinking of is, number one, you're an 8th grade science teacher. We're years away from college. Number two, I was a working class kid. There was nothing in my family history, at least immediate family, of me going to college. In 4th grade, I said I wasn't going to college. Why? Because I didn't have any positive influences thinking that I would ever get there. And even if I did, how would I pay? You know what about bar graphs and line graphs? I actually think I see the bar graphs more than the line graphs. Like when I get my bill from Xcel Energy, bar graphs. Rental car on the fuel usage, bar graphs. The only place I've seen line graphs would be my credit score, my FICO score with Discover card. You know why I like bar graphs? A lot of color. I mean, you have to follow that line. I mean, it's a lot harder to follow a line than bars. It would have made more sense if he said, I want you to use this because I like using this, instead of, you can't. It's like, you're telling a kid you can't. It's like, no, that doesn't work. You're an educator. You're supposed to be able to teach them, not tell them what they can't do, when it's just like that Green Day song, She's figured out all her doubts were someone else's point of view. Yeah, that was really just his point of view on what works. Not necessarily the one that works for everybody, though. I also don't miss a lot of my ex-coworkers. And this goes back decades before I even moved to the Twin Cities. I was reminded of that because I was watching pro football this weekend, and they have those a lot of insurance commercials, and one of them has the bird running onto the field and during a football game. And it reminded me of an annoying ex-coworker when I was living in suburban Chicago that would ask me every time after he heard I was going to go to a baseball game, wow, you gonna run onto the field? And it's like, this dude doesn't know what's funny because nobody was laughing. And it all seemed to be a passive-aggressive way of saying, I don't like you, and I hope that you're stupid enough to get arrested. Because that's what happens when you run onto sports fields and interrupt the game. I mean, if a joke doesn't work, don't do it. I sure wasn't laughing, nobody else was. Oh, and I'm a bank employee. There were notable things in the past week. Tales from the bank. There was the impatient requester. You want a garden variety check copy request. It's like, okay. I get the email, I'll get to it when I get to it. And then he sends me an instant message and says, I want this right away. And it's like, dude, it's the first hour of the day. Give me a little time to do it. Oh, and the other notable thing, I printed a 9-figure check, and I didn't know that was possible. But I work for a big bank, and I even went back to the business line. It's like, is that amount correct? He said, yes. It's like, okay, I'll overnight it. Due diligence. I mean, I never thought I'd see a 9-figure check. It was a big deal to see an 8-figure check. But I guess you gotta send something to district court in California, then you gotta send it, even that much. That would pay for a lot of things in life, no doubt. Like some movies cost that much to make and promote. Well, that'll do it with me. You've all been great.